So we're gonna do a little Rhine video here. Somebody I just unlocked, so I haven't fully leveled them up yet. I'm not going to just yet. I have other stuff I want to spend my credits on, but we'll still go over what we're gonna upgrade with those last two options. But yeah, I've really been liking him so far. I don't know if he's gonna replace Plute as my main just yet, but I really like the potential in his stuff, which we'll go over with his abilities. But yeah, he's been solid so far. So we're not gonna go too crazy talking about this stuff. You don't really have too many options here. A little extra stamina, sprint cost reduction, extra mag. Those you're just taking no matter what. So then we start getting into the options. So you have the ability to reduce the cost of his ability, which is, I think that's the default 65. I don't think I have any cost reduction ones just yet, but seems pretty expensive, but it's honestly not too bad to keep up with the stamina there. So I opted to not take the cost reduction, and I actually went for the increased range on his ability. For it's only +2 meters, but we do have another one of those upgrades that gets us to 27. I think the other one's 5, so that the base is 22. So we get up to 20, or base is 20, so we get up to 22 meters. Just more range to hit people with this ability is good, because you'll see some of the upgrades we get later. We're gonna want to hit people. This is just an extra thing where anybody we revive gets an extra 75 SP when we get them up. It's kind of whatever. Here, anytime I get either stamina or health, I always take the health. Stamina, while it is a resource that you do have to manage, it's usually pretty easy to manage what you already have. So anytime I get the stamina upgrade option versus the health, I'll always take health, even if it's just +5. We move on to our first special trait for our dead calm, our ability. If we hold the ability button, it produces an electromagnetic pulse that destroys mines, ground-based drones, and other electronics. So if there's mines, or you get somebody like Sputnik sending his drone after you, you hold W, within 10 meters, it destroys all those. Sadly, it's only ground-based drones, so you can't destroy like Vidars or anything like that, but still kind of handy, especially because it gets rid of mines and stuff as well. So a nice little add-on there. Another one of those things where we come into either more reserves for either slot or a grenade. I'll always take the grenade. Most times. I don't think there's been a time yet where I don't take the grenade. Then we get into another choice option here. So we have ability cooldown speed, speeds up. I would rather it just say ability cooldown reduction or something. But yeah, -5 seconds, which as you can see, we've taken. We have abilities area again, another +3 meters, and then reduces the activation cost again at -20. That's probably the last one I'd take. I might take the extra range here, but I just like cooldown, because you're going to see some of the add-ons we get for this perk or for this ability are really good. So being able to potentially use it 2, maybe 3 times in a round is actually really good. So I took the cooldown reduction. We move into another option here, another HP, or we get a little bit of movement speed. It's only 0.3 meters per second. He is a little bit slower on the assault side of things, but I went with the HP here. Gets us up to 90, which is, I think, a nice point to be at. Most of my assaults kind of sit around 90. Again, we get into another grenade option here. 100% going to take the grenade. That puts us at 4. His grenades are not as good as Plute's. I really, really like Plute's, but it's still grenades. They're still decent. So always nice to have more grenades, even if it's just for breaking cover or opening up shortcuts through the map and stuff. More grenades is always nice. Another option here, again, we get into one of those stamina options. It's +75 stamina, which is somewhat significant. That's more than the cost of our ability, but most of the times we can manage it. I mostly play Showdown, and that's where you really need to manage your stamina. Everywhere else is kind of whatever. And yeah, mostly play Showdown, and I don't really have stamina issues. So again, another +5 meters to the range of our ability brings us to 27 meters, which is pretty significant. So yeah, I took the range again there. Now, this is probably the biggest upgrade for us. So we can take either this one, which is our pulses inflict the trapped effect to all enemies in the area. What is trapped? I don't even know what trapped is, but I skipped out on that because the other option is all targets affected by the ability are marked. Marked to me in this game is just like, it's wall hacks. It's free wall hacks. Why wouldn't you take it? So again, we have a 27 meter range on this ability, and if we hit anybody with it, they're marked for 5 seconds. Again, free wall hacks for 5 seconds is pretty friggin' strong to me. So now we get into the perks I haven't unlocked yet because this is way too expensive, and I don't think it's that worth it. I have other things I want to spend my credits on right now. But we have 2 options here. So we were having a debate earlier on these. I think both are very viable. Both have very big advantages, and it kind of depends on your playstyle and what you want out of this upgrade. But I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. So the first one is when you tag somebody with your ability, your operator speed is now increased by 20% for 6 seconds. So as far as I understand, that's both your walking speed and your sprint speed. So I think this takes you up to like 3.84 walk speed. And then it brings your sprint speed from 5 up to 6, which I believe is the cap. That's what everybody's been telling me, is that the sprint cap is 6, or the speed cap is 6. So that brings you right up to the cap. So this is great for you tag people, they're above you or somewhat further away and you need to reposition. You now have extra sprint speed. Even going into a fight, you pop this, you tag them, you now have better strafe speed. So a solid option. You really can't go wrong with this. The other option is when you tag them, you now get for 3 seconds plus 10% rate of fire. So with him, his speed, his shot speed is 10.5 a second. This brings it up to, I believe it was like 11 point something. So you're basically getting an extra shot per second. And with some of these skills, you're going to see on our gun, we have some decent damage. So getting an extra shot in to me is what I'm going to personally take. Just because his gun is a little bit slower than some other assaults. But this will boost that up. And the way I plan to use his ability, I'm most likely going to already be on the flank just because you're getting marks on operators and stuff from your teammates all throughout the game. So you can usually figure out where everybody is and reposition then rather than marking and using your ability to position. So I want to get into position, then pop this and then pop out. And I now have increased rate of fire so I can try and melt them down before they even get a chance to respond to me. So that's personally going to be what I'm taking, but this is the first operator where I've seen something like this, where it's like both are very solid options, and I don't think you can really go wrong with either. And again, as we were talking about earlier, it's just options. It lets you build this operator a little bit more how you want for your playstyle. So I think both of these are very good options. And then lastly, we have the area of effect for your grenades, which we'll talk about in a bit. The grenades are, again, decent. I don't think you really need an extra meter range. It's already 4.5, good enough for me. So I'm going to skip out on that one. Ability cooldown speed up. That is probably what I'm going to take. -8 seconds. That would put us at 27 seconds on it for the cooldown for our ability. So again, we're marking people. We are disabling them and we're confusing them. So again, you're going to see, we're going to talk about his ability because I think it's pretty solid. But I personally will be taking the cooldown of -8 seconds just because I want to be able to use that ability multiple times in a round if I have to. And then the last option is 30 damage on your grenade, which again, I think could be a good option. His grenades aren't quite as good as Plute's, so that extra 30 damage with 60 pen could be pretty good. It's 150 damage, 60 pen. I don't want to do the math on that, but it's pretty solid. So that is another option if you find you're using your grenades a lot and you'd like them to kill a little bit better. I think that would be a decent choice. But again, personally, I'm going to be going for cooldown, just so that ability I feel is really strong. So having it up more often is pretty good to me. So we'll get into his gun here a little bit. Obviously, all these stats are going to be varied depending on certain skills and stuff, but 22 damage per shot, 38 headshot damage, 55 pen. It's kind of a lot of it's a middle of the road. You get 5 mags, which is nice. I think that's a solid number for assaults to have. It's kind of what I aim for, is about 5. And as long as you're good with your ammo management and making sure you grab your crates when you need to, I don't really have too many issues with 5 mags. I don't usually run out. Typically, I make sure I have 2 full magazines before I grab a crate. As long as I have 2 full mags, I'm pretty content going into a round without having to grab a crate. So that's kind of what I aim for. And then again, 10.5. He's got okay range. There's certainly better out there, but 30 meters is decent enough. As an assault, most of the time I'm trying to flank and get somewhat close anyway. But you still have the option to fight at range a little bit here. So yeah, overall, I think it's a solid gun. The low recoil or the low fire rate actually makes the recoil pretty controllable. So you'll see we have heavy barrel, which increases our recoil, but I still find it very manageable. So yeah, overall, solid gun. I don't mind it at all. I still like Plute's gun better, but it's going to be hard for me to find a gun I like more than Plute's, I think, just because it's a laser that melts people, even though it's got low damage. But yeah, decent gun. We don't really need to talk about the handgun. Most people aren't going to use it. So we get into the grenades here. 120 damage, 60 pen. You get 4 of them once you have all the upgrades. Again, just decent grenades, not the best, not the worst. I would rather have Plute's with the bleed damage. I think Plute's do, I think it's like 100 damage. I think same pen. It's like 100 damage, but it's got, I think it's 40 bleed over 5 seconds, 8 per second or something like that. Yeah, I think it's, I think his grenades are just so good, but these grenades are decent for finishing somebody off, or again, just, I prefer grenades in general, just for most things, destroying walls, stuff like that. So decent grenade. So now we get into the main thing here, his dead calm ability. So the duration is 3 seconds. So it's not like super long, but it's fairly effective. 27 meter range with our upgrades, which is a decent distance. Cooldown of 35. We're going to be getting it down to 27 seconds once we get that final upgrade there. And then the cost is 65. It's a little pricey, but it's not that bad. Again, that's running stims. I might switch those out later, but for now, running stims, we usually just top up at the start of a round and we're fine. So the enemies around the operator receive EMP and Confused. So EMP disables all active abilities, and then Confused, the target cannot activate abilities but can still sprint. So again, both of those are only going to last for 3 seconds. But here's the discussion that I'm not 100% sure on. So EMP to me is like the big one here. So characters like Aphila, where she pops her ability and she gets the last stand, basically. Once she's upgraded, she has that last stand ability, where if you do enough damage to kill her, she doesn't actually go down until whatever the duration of her last stand is. What I'm hoping with this ability, I haven't been able to test it, and I don't think there's really a way to test at the moment, because you can't do like custom lobbies or anything. What I'm hoping is if you get into a gunfight with her and you pop this, you know she's popped her ability, you pop this, it now deactivates that. So she doesn't get her damage boost, she doesn't get her last stand, and then if you kill her first, she just goes down immediately. So I think that could be a huge counter for her. And same with what's his name, Starkadar. Same kind of deal with the last stand. But then you got confused on top of that. So if you pop it before you go into the fight, for 3 seconds, she can't pop that ability. And then if you go up against somebody like Cosmar, I think has an active ability. I don't really know him too well, but people like Cosmar or Corsair or whoever, there's a lot of people that can affect where they now lose their ability and they can't activate a new one for 3 seconds, I think is really strong. And then obviously with the you've got the mark coming out of that, which is 5 seconds. You've also got, what else was it? The ability to destroy drones as well if you hold the ability. So there's so much utility coming out of his ability. It's really nice. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this ability so far. I'm still new to playing him, but I don't have any major complaints with him just yet. I need to do some further testing with this ability to make sure it works how I think it should work. But if it does, I think he's a really solid choice. Especially if you go into ranked and you're counter picking. Usually a little harder at assault because both you're either picking first or picking second. So if you're picking first, you can't really counter pick with him in that position. But either way, I think he's a solid choice even as a first pick, just because you can counter if necessary. And once you're upgraded with the mark and stuff, it's just, that's fantastic as it is. So yeah, solid overall so far. So we'll get into skills here. Again, I don't have him fully leveled up, so I don't have my last perk slot, but I'm actually thinking of using his own personal skill here. So basically, while you have your primary weapon out, you get 15% extra sprint speed. So that is another reason I'm not necessarily going to take that one ability that gives him the 20% increased movement speed or whatever, because I might take this and that's going to kind of give me that extra sprint speed. So the other one with the special trait was 20%. This is only 15%, but it's still extra sprint speed, and that's just all the time, not when you mark somebody or tag somebody with this. So I might do that just because, again, he is a little bit on the slower side of other assaults. So getting a little extra speed there is probably what I'm going to take. Other options, again, something I run on a lot of my assaults now that I'm starting to unlock it with Bourbon's Hemostatic Serum. Right now, I've only got a level 2, so I'm getting 10 HP, but we're aiming for max level, which is 15 HP. And with armor and stuff, usually you're staying topped up, meaning you're taking less damage from people. So it's usually an extra 2, possibly even 3 sometimes shots that you can survive. And again, that's going to pair well with counterattack, which we'll talk about, where you have to get shot for it to come into effect. It just lets you survive more shots to then use that, take advantage of that ability's perks. Other options, these were just options I kind of looked at on other assaults as well, but Changlong's shooting posture, which we're going to look at the maxed out level, because that's what most people are aiming for, is the maxed out tier 3 of these skills. But after 0.5 seconds of aiming, you take 15% less firearm and explosion damage. Damage reduction is always nice. Again, it's going to pair nice with counterattack, where we have to get shot first before it activates. So anything that's going to let you survive longer to get more benefit out of that is good, in my opinion. And then another kind of, it's a little more situational, but as long as you have over 300 stamina, you're immune to both stunned, or all of stunned, slowed, trapped, and stiff. I don't know if I've ever run into stiff or trapped, but mostly stunned and slowed. You're just immune to that. So if you're running into a lot of people doing these debuffs to you, might be worth grabbing. But again, more of a side option that I'm not necessarily going to grab anytime soon, but just options for whatever playstyle you kind of run. We get into the protective material stuff here. Snug Fit, I pretty much run on everybody, which is going to increase your base bonus stamina regeneration by 8 per second, as long as you're full armor. And I mean, again, with this ability costing a little bit more, any sort of stamina regen is going to be nice. I play a lot of showdowns, so at the start of every round, you're full armor anyway, so you're going to be regenning right from the start. Yeah, I think it's a solid thing because that's the one resource you really have to manage in this game is stamina, and this just really helps with that. But there are other options you can grab as well. A few that I was looking at was Travnik's subdermal morphine. So when your armor gets broken, for 5 seconds, you heal up to 40 HP. So 40 over 5 seconds. So again, you're gonna reset your armor every round. So every round, you're gonna be able to take advantage of this. Now it is only once per round. So if you get your armor broken and you get that heal, you reapply your armor and it gets broken again, you're not going to get that heal again. It's not going to be effective until the next round again. But again, every round you're refreshing your armor, so you should be able to take advantage of this. And the nice thing is when somebody shoots you and breaks through your armor, they're probably going to hit you for flesh damage as well. So you're going to start regenning that flesh damage over those 5 seconds as well. So it's just extra survivability. And again, could be something that pairs with counterattack, which we're going to talk about here in a sec. Another potential option was Sherchiet's stimulant medications. So first aid kits, which I'm considering switching to at some point. Now when you heal HP, it heals stamina as well. There's a cooldown of 40 seconds between that. But yeah, still kind of nice and kind of a nice option if you want to go med kits, but you're still worried about your stamina. You have something like that to work with. What else did I have here? I think that's kind of it. I think those were the options I was looking at for protective materials, at least. Weapon systems. Right now I'm using heavy barrel, which increases my damage by 10%, but increases my recoil by 40%. Honestly, it's not even noticeable for me. It was before I got certain attachments and stuff for his gun. But right now I feel like his gun shoots great, even with that increased recoil. And then we're just doing an extra little bit of damage. So that's what I'm using right now. Probably what I'm going to stick with. In terms of other options though, something like armor piercing rounds, an extra 15% armor penetration. He's only got 55 as it is, so that would bring you up to 70. It's decent. Again, I'm probably just going to stick with heavy barrel, but if you want options, if you don't have heavy barrel, but you have Archer and you have his ability, might be worth considering. What else do I have here? Enhanced stimulants from Freyr. Oh yeah. So when you pop your stim, not only are you increasing the amount you gain by 120, you're also getting 10% damage resistance over the 4 seconds that stim is active. So kind of nice as well. And then yeah, that's kind of it for the weapon systems in terms of my personal preference on options for him. And then we'll get into combat tactics here. So this is what I'm using right now. Counterattack, which we talked about a few times. So after taking 3 hits for 8 seconds, we get 15% damage increase, which I think is pretty significant. But yeah, that's why I was talking about taking things like hemostatic serum or shooting posture, which are going to either give you more health to take more shots, or they're going to give you damage reduction so you don't take as much damage, so you can absorb more hits and then get the effect of this. I think this is going to help win a lot of gunfights. They shoot you 3 times. You're now doing 15% more damage to them. And again, his gun, especially with our ability where we're going to get some fire rate as well, an extra round per second. We're now doing more damage, starting to get quicker with it. And I just think it's a solid ability. So that's kind of what I'm running there. We're talking about Starkadar as well. He was one I was considering early on for my assaults just in general, where when you execute somebody, you get 30 HP over 5 seconds and 100 stamina over 5 seconds. So regen on both your health and stamina is nice. You can use that mid-fight if you're doing showdown. You get somebody in a position where you can execute them safely. you're getting health and stamina now during the round. If you do it at the end of a round before you switch to the new round, you're gaining that stamina while you're in the victory screen. And then we were talking about Annihilation, where there's a lot of respawns and stuff, and you're constantly executing people and you're staying in the fight. This could be really nice as well. I personally don't play a ton of Annihilation, so counterattacks probably, even if I play Annihilation, this is probably what I'm going to run. But it's definitely an option you could look at. Tibet's Sure Step, which is sprint activation cost reduction of 25%. If you're having stamina issues, his is only 7 sprint cost, so it's not like super high. But if you really need the reduction there, that's an option. What else was I looking at? I think that's kind of it. So yeah, again, we're probably going to use his own ability on him, or we'll use Hemostatic Serum if I find myself a little bit too squishy. But yeah, I get a little movement speed on him with that. Snug Fit, Heavy Barrel, Counterattack. It's probably what I'm going to run on him for the most part. But yeah, so far overall, I'm enjoying using him. I'm still not sure if I like him better than Plute. I think he does have a little bit more utility than Plute, but I really like Plute's gun. I really like Plute's grenades. But I think he's got a solid kit with his ability. And I like the fact that Plute's mark, so his mark, I'm pretty sure only marks it for you. Yeah, are only visible to the operator. So I'm the only one that sees my marks. Whereas with Plute, if they destroy my decoy, my entire team sees the marks. So it's a little more advantageous to your teammates as well. But yeah, really liking him so far. He's probably my second go-to right now. But we'll jump into a game here and see what we can do with him. We'll try and discuss some of the ways to use him, and I'll kind of give you guys my thought process as we're going through it in terms of what I'm doing with him, why I'm using my ability when I'm using it and stuff like that. But I do think it's a solid ability. And again, once I can do a little bit more testing to see if it does actually like disable Afila or Starkadar or anybody really, even drones, I have to remember I can do that if what's his name, Sputnik's drone comes after me, or what's the there's a marksman that's got the shock drone, I forget his name. I can potentially use this ability, and it's a 10-meter range on the drone destroying things. So the marksman drone can be really annoying because when it gets up to you, it starts shocking you, and I think it's like every 3 seconds it shocks and stuns you. So it can be really hard to pop an ability in between those stuns. But again, it's a 10-meter range, so if you can get away from it a little bit and then pop this, you can destroy it. But yeah, then just the EMP and the confuse and the mark, and there's just a lot you can do with this ability. I don't think I've used his whole W yet for the drone destruction, mine destruction and stuff, but certainly an option. We got Scolio on our team. Everybody seems to love him from what I've heard. I've seen a few of these people around before. Got TTV. What map are we on? Is this oil rig or the other one? I think it's oil rig.
Anybody care for some extra armor?
No.
I like armor.
I brought my own armor.
Ah!
Salt underneath the 2-story. I don't know why my ability won't pop. There we go.
They're coming behind us and spawn right now. Bishop.
Watch out, enemy.
Shit, where's the rest of them? Got their marksman down. Medic on our flank there. Watch your ass, medic. Oh, their assault still in spawn. He's half health though. He's pushing up now. Try and keep marking him. He went down low and around. Did they get that medic? He's pushing here. He's coming up on you, medic. Nice. Medic was towards. Oh, medic too.
He's super lit.
He's gone back inside. I'll keep trying to mark him here. He might try and yeah, he's reviving the assault right now.
They got him.
Nice.
Nice job.
Bro, why are your guys' mics so loud?
I don't know.
You don't sound like you're fucking screaming. Like, I can tell that you're not yelling, but your voices are just so loud.
It's just my manly nature.
Yeah. You got like a streaming mic too or something?
I mean, it's okay, I guess. It's not a headset mic.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess everyone's mic is kind of loud for me as well. Just adjust the settings and game volume.
Medic down.
There's 2 on my side left. Starlock is super weak. Sniper, the other guy's with him.
We got Bishop over here.
Look, he's gonna execute me right now. He's got no health.
I'm coming.
I'm gonna scan here in a sec. Nice. Bishop was in their spawn over here somewhere. He could have moved by now, but he was up behind the big wall.
Let's get rid of these people so he doesn't revive them then. Like that.
Move together. Wait for them.
Oh, on our flank. Nice. Medic on ping.
Less than half health.
Got 8 seconds on my scan. 2 seconds. Scanning now. Oh.
Nice job, guys.
Need ammo. So again, you can see my stamina is a little bit low here, so we can just pop a stim and we should be set. Medic pushing my side here.
Starlock
inside
underneath
here.
again.
Okay. Where'd that medic go?
Bishop's in our spawn again. He's coming to me right now. He's running down. Nope, he's on me.
Coming. I got medic on me if you can deal with Bishop. I was mid reload. It's coming around your side. Nice. I'm trying to get eyes on Bishop. He's pushing around. He's on inside though. Oh, nice try.
I only had 3 health. I had wall bang in mind, and that's about it.
I should have died to the medic that was on me.
You have a chance to win.
See marksman pushing left side a bit. Support
Yeah, they
on
do
my
the same thing
side.
every single time, which means one of them is also going to push far left. I'm pushing right here.
Trying to get a flank on him. Medic up in spawn still. I think Bishop pulled back up to the spawn with
He's
him.
in our spawn,
Coming, right here. Inside.
Good job, 2 left.
Last 2 should be in spawn, last scene. The medic and support. He's super hurt.
Yep.
Trying to ping him. It's on the outside though. Careful. Nice. Trying to crawl and get eyes on the medic inside
Behind you
here.
Watch the spot. We need you.
Let you know if he's coming. And go for a scan here.
I need to reload.
There he is.
Half health.
There we go. GG, boys. Fucking teabag me, you piece of shit. There we go. There we fucking go. So yeah, you can see how strong his scan is and stuff, especially with the mark ability on it. It's just it's solid. It is solid. But yeah, I'm really liking him so far. Yeah, he's becoming possibly, he's competing with Plute for my favorite operator so far. I really like his abilities, but yeah, there you go.